Black is the color of beauty and royalty. A people blessed with rich culture and heritage. In case you missed it, I told the tale of how Sango became Alaafin instead of Ajakai's brother, how he saved Oyo from the shackles of Owu, and how he discovered Edunara, the stone of thunder and lightning. Do well to watch the last episode to catch up and get the full gist. As Alaafin, he was unlike his brother, who was a weak commander-in-chief. Sango placed each of his generals in strategic locations to keep the mighty Owu in check. Everybody in Oyo feared the overbearing Sango. Even his wives and the Oyomesis also feared him. Talking about his wives, Sango married at least 3 wives known as Oba, Oshun, and Oya. Oba was his first wife who controlled his household as the Iyale, literally the mother of the house. Oshun, his second wife, a woman of immense beauty who Sango had used his dancing talents to attract. And of course, his last wife, Oya, who was his companion at battle. Although he did not pay a bride price, she had just run away from her cruel husband to Sango's arms. While these acts might run contrary to tradition, it is believed that both Sango and Oya were destined to be together, as Ifa Oracle had revealed through Orere, the greatest Babalawo, diviner of that time. How did Oya become his companion at battle? In time, his last wife, Oya, beautiful, fierce, and ruthless, was a priestess of the rain spirit. She was a powerful woman who had the courage of 10 men and the wisdom of the spirits. Remember, Sango's diviners had perfected the crafting of Edunara, the stone that allows Sango command and control thunder and lightning at will. Sango soon became a dreaded figure because he could summon thunder anytime and anywhere. This made Oya inquisitive and eager to find out how Sango became a terror. She soon discovered his secrets for conjuring lightning when she found his hidden Edunara stones somewhere kept away. She stole some of them for herself, and from then on, Oya became even more daring. Standing up obstinately to Sango without fear, she would confront him and make her statements bold and without apology. Sango was not very pleased with this insubordination under his roof, and so he approached his diviners to find a way out of this mess. His Babalawos, the diviners, then advised Sango against any confrontation. They warned him sternly that Oya could be deadly if she combines her powers as a priestess of the rain spirit and this newfound power of thunder and lightning. This could be devastating, combining rain power, lightning and thunder. The diviners urged Sango to swallow his pride this time around and harness her newfound powers to his own advantage. From then on, Sango decided to walk away from his desire to confront Oya and made her instead his companion in battle. Oya, with a combination of powers, would conjure terrible storms against their enemies at war, and so they became the most powerful couple, with Oya conjuring rain and storm, Sango striking thunder with lightning, raining fire and brimstone on their enemies, and riding to victory unchallenged.
tí mo dàgbà àní tí mo tóyàwó gbé ní bàbá yá fàmí fólúkòso àtọ́bàjáyé sọ lárúurú alárúurú.
Aláàfin Sango. How did a man of such power, with his allies and diviners, become the man who hanged himself in Koso? The downfall of Sango. In the 7th year of Sango, he had 2 generals. Timi Agbale Olofaina, who could shoot arrows of fire, and Bonka, who was equally powerful. Timi could shoot fire from his bows, of course. He was Sango's ally. He also had flashes of his master's dark arts and crafts, and so he was called Olofana, the one with the bow and arrow of fire. One version of this story believes Sango sent Timi to secure Ede because invaders will come through that route to take valuables from neighboring communities. Ede, according to this version, was a business hub where everyone had access to all sorts of goods. Timi obeyed Sango, went on to conquer Ede, becoming the first king and ruler of the land. Until tomorrow, the king of Ede in Osun State, southwest Nigeria, is known as Timi of Ede, assuming the name of the warlord Sango sent to Ede. But another version says Sango was furious because Timi and Bonka disobeyed direct orders not to march on Owu in battle. This act of sabotage and betrayal brought shock and pain to Sango. Seeing her husband in despair, Oya advised him to get rid of these 2 generals and send them to govern the border towns of his empire. Timi simply obeyed and left for Ede, but Bonka stayed back in Oyo to pose further threats to Aláàfin Sango in a scheme to destroy them both. Sango sent Bonka to Ede to capture Timi, where he believed they would destroy each other. However, to put an interesting twist to this story, Bonka succeeded in subduing Timi, and Sango, believing that the match in Ede was stage-managed, asked for a rematch right in Oyo. Bonka, a strong man, valiant and terrible in battle, defeated Timi again. But despite this victory, Sango still ordered that he should be burnt to ashes. Mysteriously, however, Bonka reappeared after 3 days, giving Sango an ultimatum to vacate the throne as the king for his infidelity, betrayal of trust, and wickedness. Sango Aláàfin rose on his throne and angrily requested for his Edunara, an insubordination from Bonka, a subject pointing to the king. When Oya brought his Edunara, it was wet and stained with blood from her period. Sango, visibly angry and vicious, left the palace to Okeajaka, a high rock facing the palace, to reactivate the potency of his thunderbolt. Sango took Edunara and performed his magic as he will always do. At first, it looked as if Edunara was no longer active, but the thunder Sango created accidentally struck the palace. A powerful thunder so great that it tore the palace almost into half. This strike of a powerful thunder took Sango's wives and some of his children. They perished in this catastrophe. His servants, horses, properties, destroyed by his own hands. Sango, who was the author of his own misfortunes, became alarmed and dismayed at what had happened to his family, and from a broken heart, he resolved to abdicate the throne and retire to the court of his maternal grandfather in Nupe. All Oyo was now astir, not only to sympathize with the king, but also to dissuade him from carrying out his resolution to leave Oyo. But he could not bear any opposition. He was so mad, so furious, so angry and bitter that he refused to be persuaded. He was said to have caused 160 persons to be slain in a fit of anger, not of his enemies, of those who were showing much concern and begging Sango to stay back in Oyo. But according to another account, Sango did not abdicate the throne of his own free will, but he was asked to do so by a strong party in the state. Both accounts may be true. There may have been two parties, because for one who already has absolute power invested in him by the law, another strange power can only be used spitefully, so that no one near him would be safe. So the chiefs, Oyomesi, may have told Sango to pack his bag and leave as the king. Sango, thus determined, he set out on his fateful journey with a few followers. Biri, his head slave and favorite, was the first to regret the step taken and to urge his master to yield, to return to Oyo. But finding Alaafin Sango adamant, Biri forsook him and returned to the city with all other followers. Sango marched on, angry. But the moment he realized that his favorite Biri had left him, deserted him to walk alone, he could not proceed alone, and for the shame, he could not return to Oyo, neither could he go to Nupe empty-handed. And so Sango resolved to put an end to his own life, in shame and rejection. And climbing on a shea butter tree, he hanged himself in Koso. His friends, hearing of this tragedy, went immediately and performed for him the last act of kindness, honor for a former king, by burying his remains under the same shea butter tree in Koso. Thus, Alaafin Sango became known as Sango Olukoso, which means Sango, the Lord or Master of Koso. He was afterward deified and is still worshipped by some as the god of thunder and lightning in Yoruba land. And thus goes the saying, Sango Olukoso Okoya. Sango, the Lord or Master of Koso, the husband of Oya. The legend of Sango.
Sango de oro Okoya o, agbe na genge abike lẹ́nu Ọya.
Sango de oro Okoya o, agbe na genge abike.
I'm sure you've learned something on this episode. Our next episode will be another interesting piece. Please subscribe, comment, and spread the love. Thank you for watching.